Hey everyone, welcome back to the Archangel 15. Coming at you with another one of my weekly reports. This is for the first week of January. Happy New Year's, everybody. For the record, I tend to side towards the lunar calendar rather than the Roman calendar. I've seen many inefficiencies in the Roman calendar. From my extensive research in theology, it's pretty self-evident that the Roman Catholic Church changed the dates of certain things, basically to hide prophecy. In the book of the Bible, in the books of law, I think like Numbers, Exodus, Leviticus, so forth, there's like immense chronology of like bloodlines. And like the reason the bloodlines were laid out that way in the Bible is so that like we would know a timetable roughly for prophecy. And the Roman Catholic Church, as evil as they are, of course they changed this. Just know that the lunar calendar is very, very, very important. In my opinion, more important than the solar calendar that we have ours based off of. The Chinese still celebrate the Lunar New Year. That's Chinese New Year. And the book I'm reading by Blavatsky, The Secret Doctrine, mentions the seven lunar monads. And they're actually, the name is Petries. And like it's real deep into like occult stuff. The seven Petries of the monad, the lunar monad. So, like I said, everybody who knows me knows I throw a disclaimer in there. Like I said, by watching these videos, you agree not to take legal action against me. Consider this for entertainment purposes. I use a variety of sources, including my own personal alchemy abilities, to put this all together. Essentially, I came up with the conclusion that I'm not trying to bat 1,000% every single presentation. I'm basically coming at your throat and hoping to get 750%, and I'm happy with that. I've already said an immense amount of stuff that has come true, and like probably other things that are true that are not being talked about. And like I really should start making a list, to be honest with you. But I'm not one of those people like, oh, I told you so. Like you can take pretty much what I say to the bank. Like I can tell you that I've refined my abilities and I have immense confidence in them, and like this is like divine inspiration from God. That being said, I like to throw some other stuff in. I was watching this movie about Robert Hansen, the guy that supposedly leaked all this information about the United States and various things, and like I kind of started doing my own little cold case on that, and I really believe that he was set up, that it was like a calumnious. It was like the actual word that came up. Usually, like I can just determine it in one word, and it'll be a word that's like so perfect that I didn't even know the word. And calumnious came up. I actually took the time and wrote this guy a letter, and it was really interesting. Like I said, I told him about my work with the Russians, and like basically like I told him that I really believe the Russians are colluding with the CIA. And anytime I ever mentioned the Bush babies, like stolen kid, like basically Barbie Bush was a stolen kid, and like the many clones that like they gave the Russians always tried to like brush it under the table, probably because they like I would almost go as far to say that the troops that are dying in Ukraine are probably the Bush babies that they sent to the front lines to be killed. I want to give a warning here on shock. Like the other day I had some medical stuff going on, and like I went into shock, and it was really bad. I probably should have gone into it like 3 years ago after like COVID started and everything. But I just want to warn you that like your blood is probably very toxic. Like anything at all that like is going to like add to this toxicity will pretty much put you into shock. There's like 4 or 5 different types. Based like some of it's like from swelling, some of it's from like an allergic reaction, some of it's like a lack of blood supply, some of it's like infections. But it's really interesting. Like you can be the biggest, strongest, baddest person on the face of the earth, and if you go into shock, it'll get you. And like I said, like I have great respect for people who are frontline medical workers. They see this and deal with it all the time. They probably know a lot of information. It's a really interesting phenomenon. There was a book called A Molecule Away from Madness that I'm looking to read maybe in the future. I'm honestly having issues getting past Blavatsky. It's so captivating. It basically repossesses your soul. Blavatsky, I've seen nobody else that even comes close to her style of writing. Crowley, sort of close, but not as in depth as Helena Blavatsky. Talk to my contacts prior to Christmas in China. I really don't have too many contacts there anymore. They don't let me. Like the ones that I have, they're probably CIA co-ops, cooperatives, and I don't really know the truth about it until I get there. But her and her son both were not feeling well from COVID. I wish them well, and I know China's going through some serious issues. For me, I can't get there soon enough. I mentioned some other stuff, like other issues, other problem areas in the world that are not being talked about. One thing that came up that I forgot to mention, this is like a while ago now, is the Bedouins. If you look at the area of the Bedouins, like Jordan and like around Egypt. Like there's like a whole like group of people that like these Islamic people called the Bedouins. It's really cool. They have these tours where you can go like camp in like tent cities of theirs. Really, really interesting. But like that whole area of like northern Africa, in the Middle East, I really like in Jordan, I really believe some stuff went down, and I like reaffirm everything I said about Slovenia. Like I truly, wholeheartedly believe Slovenia got lit up, probably by a Satan missile, and like that's serves bastard Trump right for bringing like innocent good people into it with stolen genetics. I heard like it serves them right. They get what they deserve. I want to proclaim victory here for 2022. Those who like know my channel, like I stop and think to myself, like I'm not one to toot my own horn. I'm not a narcissist, like, from time to time I embellish, myself or explain, think philosophy behind things, and there's usually a good reason for it. But like, how do I outdo 2022? I mean, this is my air show videos. If you haven't seen those, like I said, they're like in the top 3 all time of all impactful Russian films ever made. Probably like, I would say top 10, but like top 3 really. And like the cloud formations, just the suppressed medical science. I'm damn proud to do what I do on this channel. I'm a self-made man. Nobody helps me. I do all this myself. The presentations that take 6, 7, 8 hours, I write all the notes myself. No, there's no camera people here. You notice I don't have any special effects. I wouldn't even know how to begin doing that stuff. I get right to the heart, right to the point, right to the core, right to the meat of everything here. And like that's what I aim to do. Obviously my views are gamed, but like I said, they've learned very, very valuably not to try to take my presentations down. I mentioned that like a couple weeks ago, that was like one I had to upload 4 times. Like there was a huge earthquake the next day. And then like I also did a video on my instrument that I made, and I talked about it then. And it gets into the deeper things. They have like this weather modification system named HAARP. And like I think that it like accurately correlates to like some type of angelic entities or like mind, like psi phenomenon or something like that. Probably the Chinese or Russians have. So like I said, I'm not my goal is not to bat 1,000. It's to come at your throat batting 750 every week. And like, to be honest with you, I deserve much better. And like, I have a major issue here. Like people say, well, why don't you go out and, you could easily get a job in the intelligence community or this and that. You could start your own business. I could do a number of things. But like I said, once you take out a mortgage or once you're tied to work, like you can't go travel when you work for the government. Like you get like a certain amount of vacations, and like, believe me, they're not going to want you going places like Russia or China. If they did, they're going to be hawking down your back, and they're going to want to make sure you have a kid or some kind of collateral here. And like I said, like the grail hangs by a thread. Like it seriously hangs by a thread. And like it's my goal to basically secure my progeny, and like basically put it back in the hands of people who are deserving of this amazing gift from God. So like another pet peeve of mine, like I said, like this whole little area I have, like I really believe that when like in the Obama era, there was like a takeover of like fake Muslim Air Force black people. They're like Islamic extremists, and that like it was like probably obviously part of prophecy or something like that. But like I'm tired of like fake black people. And like I said, like there's like this group like of black people from like Washington D.C. that like basically they drive 2017 and 2018 BMWs and Mercedes, and they think that, and they drive around and think that they're God. And they need to understand that they got this money at the cost of like good innocent people in West Virginia, Kentucky, Alabama, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee. Like I said, like I said, you go to any one of those places and people can't get even a $12, $15 an hour job. And then these people come here and they bleed our country dry. They make, over 120 grand a year probably on average, these people. What do? Exactly. And like, I believe that like Obama let them trade or something like that. Like they're obviously not on some kind of sanctions list. Like these people need cut to the ground. And like I'm not, like I said, like I love good black people. But like I said, there's like a group of them out there that like, they think that they're being slick, playing both sides of this. And like their party's coming to a quick end. And, like another thing too is like this blasphemy stuff. Like I see serious problems with the Christian faith. Like actually, I'm going to go as far to say we need to like cancel out the Christian faith. Like never ever forget about the personification of Jesus. But we can't have the Rothschilds going to Christian church. We can't have the you know, good other good, like the Bushes going to Christian churches. Like it negates the whole principle behind Christianity. And like basically we need a new doctrine that's rooted in truth and science and sanctified by the blood of the Holy Grail. Like I said, it goes back much further than Jesus Christ. And like I said, the truth is that when the second coming happens, nobody's even going to care about the Bible. Like almost all prophecy will have been fulfilled by then. Yeah, there's some good stories in there, but like even my story, nobody would even want to hear about David after like the shit that I've taken on. To be honest with you, and no disrespect to him, but there must be a new doctrine. Like I said, the scummy Rothschilds, they have churches. Like I said, like just because you have a church and a steeple and all this, like I think that like the true one and only God that we have, like doesn't care about those people. And like it's like blasphemy to the real second coming that like these people still try to like push this this retired doctrine of Christianity, or this antiquated doctrine, we'll say. If you're interested in theology, I recommend the work of Jordan Maxwell. You know, everybody knows that I just think the world of Jordan Maxwell. Amazing man. He has presentations on the cults of Judaism, and this particular one that I really like is he talks about like there's some that are based in stellar, there's some that are based in lunar, and sexual is like another one. And like I told you, that like if you understand the cosmos, you know that like basically there's a lot of sexual connotations with the cosmos, astral, what have you. The thing with while we're on the topic of the Rothschilds, the red hair thing is really starting to irritate me. Like in my little, like, I wonder how many people like the Rothschilds want to like try to seed in the world. They must have hundreds of thousands of kids. Like I said, they like the Bushes and the Rothschilds must have thought that it was like this amazing, beautiful idea to seed the entire earth with their progeny. And it's like, the truth is they created like a cancer frequency and like they got caught. And like these people are probably going to have to be like thinned out of the herd, in my opinion. It'd be like really the only answer. Elon Musk, I don't like to kick people when they're on the ground. It's not really like my thing, but I want whoa. I was at the King of Prussia Mall the other day, and I walked past the Tesla store like 3 or 4 times. Right next to the Tesla store, an Apple store. People out the door. I mean, it was like a circus, an absolute circus in there. Not one single person in the Tesla store. Not one. Not even like a looker. Like it was like he was shunned. Like the Scarlet Letter or something like that. And like from what I gathered, like nobody talks about it, but like they're having serious issues. We know about the fires. Okay, like personally, I believe that there's not any research done on like the issues caused by the electrical interference to the body, the neurological system, your reproductive system. Like there's like it's way too early. Like there's no way that type of power is not affecting your body in some type of not in some type of bad way. So like let's just put it that way. So another thing they're having issue, the floods. Like areas where they've had huge floods, you know, that's real good for the environment. Let's, you know, like put some toxic batteries into the mix. The snow, issues with the snow as well. And like, okay, so they had all these rolling blackouts. How many of the rolling blackouts do you think were caused by an overabundance of people trying to charge their Teslas? Like I said, this is obvious. Our power grid is not designed for that. I have concepts with a car with like 16 parts. I'll tell you right now, the AK-47 of cars, like 16 parts, hydraulic power units. And like, to be honest with you, like the closest I'll probably ever get is attempting to convert an old car to this type of technology, right? Like I could never go through the National Highway Transportation Safety Board and like, you know, pass all like the stringent qualifications for a new motor vehicle to make it to production lines and so forth. But in Pennsylvania, if you can drive it to the inspection station and it passes, they'll give you a sticker. So like I said, things have to change. I really believe that very soon in the near future, this whole thing with Trump is going to resolve itself very, very soon. Like I said, while we're here celebrating an amazing 2022 that I had, I want to do like a moment of silence for the January 6th people that were lost in the Capitol riot. I just want to say I remember being in Washington, D.C. around that time. My sister was still living there. I was in National Harbor, Maryland. I I presume that like FBI people around me, and I remember talking to this one guy specifically. And I told him they should never have ever let that happen. And like this was in wake of like the Black Lives Matter stuff. The Black Lives Matter stuff looked like it was like a professional operation compared to what they did. I mean, it was no words. Like I said, our democracy cannot append and uphold such conduct at any level. It is not acceptable. And like, I can tell you stories like this one time I went there and like all this, like this crazy stuff started happening with wind and the weather and clouds, but they have it on video, I guarantee you. Add it to my list. So anyhow, another thing I've noted, okay, I'm gonna do my moment of silence. My thoughts and prayers go to the family members and victims of that day. May justice take its toll and be served against this evil man. I've noticed, like I used to see at least one or two high quality, like I call them Air Force Ones, Air Force Twos, Air Force Threes. Like there's a bazillion threes. A 2 and a 1 are pretty much unilaterally the same. In my opinion, a 1 has to be blonde hair, blue eyes, like pristine gem mint, untouched, like no like crazy marks, perfect teeth. Like I'm not gonna get into that kind of like scumbag mentality here, but like I've noticed you don't see the ones anymore. You used to see them in Manhattan. It was the best place to go, and in the islands. So like I presume that in Manhattan you still have some floating around, and in the islands, but I think most of them are underground or deep in hiding somewhere. And so I find that to be interesting. Like where I'm at here, like I said, like the whole thing with the red hair people, like I said, like if you have a town and you like see somebody who has red hair, especially when their parents didn't have red hair, pretty much assume right off the bat that that's Rothschild, or like I said, the Bushes and the Rothschilds mixed together or something like this. I mentioned again that I really believe that Slovenia definitely got hit. Serbia and other Balkan regions were in the mix there. This is not being talked about, and like I said, eventually the fallout will probably make it this way. That's just my personal opinion. And like I said, like it's very difficult to be me. So like nonetheless, throughout all of this, I hope people have respect for the hardships that I go through and suppression. It's not easy being me, but I do my job with great honor and pride. And like I said, I'll fight to the very end. So back to Trump. Like, why do I not feel I'm the only one that thinks this sick son of a bitch in his head still thinks he has a chance, or still thinks something's going to transpire to put him in? Like, I don't know what they have in mind. They push a whole bunch of nuke buttons with some old limp dick white people in the bushes, and then, attempt to steal I don't know what he has in mind, or just go underground and hope everybody else dies. Do I look like I'm dying to you? I'm doing pretty damn good. Me and my posse are going to be around for a while, and this boy ain't hedging. Okay, so like about the whole African American thing, I mentioned that we like the whole election of Ketanji Brown, I think her name is, the new justice. Like, I really believe it denotes like a paradigm shift in like human evolution. Like, I'm not saying this in a derogatory, racist way. Black men is one thing, but when you start getting into like a black woman, like I said, I really think that like God, like there's been several things in the past that God has destroyed the earth for, like race mixing, homosexuality, trying to be like God, probably human cloning. There's been many other problems that the world has been destroyed for in the past, like not adhering to like certain standards and just the laws of God. But I really believe, like I said, like she's a Harvard thug. I don't think she represents I don't think she cares about the average black person from the ghetto or at all. She's just a puppet nonetheless. And I really believe that like they're seeing issues. I predicted this many months ago, actually last year in the summertime, in my tribute to William Rehnquist. I went to Arlington National Cemetery. Like you can see, like I said, like a lot of stuff that I say, like notice you don't hear about her, you don't hear anything about her, but like I think that there's going to be issues in the future, to be honest with you. On the other hand, okay, so we have the new justice, and then we have Chief Justice Roberts, in my opinion, a Nazi pedophile. I don't like have any proof of the pedophilia, but I know at that level, it's a pretty widespread thing. It's like pretty common. It's like it's like a standard. And then like just look at his kids. I mean, for all I know, they're adopted, but they have like blonde hair, blue eyes. Like they don't look like they don't look like there's some kind of intervention. Like almost like they look exactly like the son looks almost like Barron Trump. Like that's just, it's not even opinion but fact. Like I said, I actually have Roberts in my family tree. Like believe that Chief Justice Roberts is connected to my family, and I believe that like there was like a plan, and I believe that they killed William Rehnquist, and Chief Justice Roberts clerked for Rehnquist, but I believe that they wanted Rehnquist gone. He was appointed by Nixon, and like I said, there was like something real fishy about that whole thing. So, like I said, I mentioned January 6th. It would be a perfect day to drag this sucker out by his few remaining hairs. And like I said, let justice take its course on many levels. Like I said, there's not one thing, but many things now that they have. I'm really, really hoping that the Ukraine situation is going to stop very soon. I'm sick and tired of pacifying the Ukrainian people. Like, okay, we made it through the new year now. Zelensky's the man of the year, big hero. Yeah. Like I said, ridiculous wonder that he is. Like, okay, now it's time not play any games anymore. I mentioned already that, like I said, Russia already controls the underworld between Kiev and Chernobyl. Kiev and Ukraine have the deepest bunkers in the world. The Russians built them. Like, you really blame the Russians for wanting what's theirs back? Like, there was, like I said, a whole agenda behind why Vladimir Lenin separated Ukraine in the first place. They could have just kept it Russia if they wanted to. There was a reason. So I believe that, like I said, moving forward, we're going to see a continuation of wild and extreme weather. We're already seeing it with the crazy temperatures. We're like I said, in January, the coldest months of the year here in Pennsylvania. And we're at 60 degrees this week. In the 60s. Yes, the 60s. It's like spring. Absolutely insane. Like I said, like to believe that my Dolmages take part in it. What I told my mom we're going to do is 1 week hot, 1 week extreme cold. Like it creates more, it's like a harder to nowhere to run type effect that comes into place then. And like it'll make people it'll make more of an impact. I told you this is part of the greenhouse effect. When the extreme cold happened the other day, that's what I said in my presentation. It's like I said, it goes both ways. Okay, so you have a hole in the ionosphere, and like it basically removes your thermal blanket of protection. Okay, so then the cold air can just plunge straight down, and that's exactly what it did when you had 40 degrees in an hour of temperature decline, last week or so. So, but then, like I said, it goes the other way when you have the extreme, heat as well. But like I said, I'm seeing a lot more other things as well, like tectonic activity, and I expect that to continue. I hold my mandates in place, and like I said, nobody at this point in time has attempted to reach out to me whatsoever. So, like I said, we'll see where things end up with that. In my opinion, it's time to turn it off a notch, or turn it up a notch. Like I said, we can definitely get more extreme than this. Like I said, this is not going to do the trick, obviously. But as always, folks, thanks for stopping in on the Archangel 15. Like I said, keep in mind Chinese New Year coming up, a Lunar New Year. Like I said, know that there's a bigger picture in the gamut of time than just what we're fed. And I wish everybody the best in 2023. I look forward to turning it up a notch, like I said, in 2023 here to continue to bring you really amazing, cool stuff and stories that nobody else is talking about, nobody else talks about. Like I said, I'm using a lot of different stuff here. Eventually, I'm going to incorporate some other concepts, and I have a few other novelties as well. But take care. God bless.